Hi guys, welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, July 19th, 2016. This is Jennifer. So it has been 1 month since my surgery and I am still at 15 to 20 minutes walking around. I can get up more times during the day though, so that is progress. And hopefully that is all I'm going to say about that today. I am still crocheting for reasons I have mentioned previously. I am hoping very much to do some sewing later this week. I have a goal of getting a few things prepped today and then hopefully sitting down and doing some left-footed sewing later in the week. So fingers crossed for that because I'd really like to work on my son's quilt that he will hopefully be taking to his dorm in the fall. He goes to college. Move-in day is August 18th, so that gives me a month to finish his quilt, and it is about 1/4 done. Just the top is about 1/4 done, and then it still has to be quilted and all of that. One day at a time, one thing at a time, and hopefully I can just do a little sewing later this week and see how that works out for me. See if there's a comfortable way I can prop my foot up and sew. I'll let you guys know next week how that goes. So I did get everything that I showed you last week turned into Linus, including the one blanket that wasn't quite done yet, the darker one that I was working on growing. My friend Linda picked up all of my Linus blankets and took them to Linus for me, and when she did that, she also got me some yarn. She asked me if I needed anything, and I told her I could use some neutrals because I had a whole bunch of random yarn left over, but I didn't have any creams or whites or anything like that. So she brought me a giant IKEA bag full of neutrals, and I have been working on those ever since. So the very first thing I finished is this, and I meant to bring the book up with me, but I'm not going back down to get it because reasons. This is from an older book. I will put a picture in here. So this is a book I've had forever, and this the pattern from this book is called Pumpkin Shells, and they called it that because it was pumpkin colored in the book, and I don't like naming things after colors because what if you don't want to do that color? Anyway, so this is what I did with that, and this is a bigger, I can't show you the whole thing, it's as big as me, so this is a really nice, I would say this is what we would call a teen size blanket for Linus, so it is big enough for an adult sized human, and I love the shells on this, if you can see that, and the stripes are this yarn came from Laura from Wonder Woman, and all of the creams are different. So I did 5 rows of cream shells in between, and I just used whatever was in the bag. So they're all a little different, but I love the way it came out. We're just gonna wear this. Anyway, so this one is done. This one only took me 2 days because these shells are made with a K-hook, and it went really fast. Also, my speed has increased greatly from all the crocheting. The only thing I didn't do that was in the pattern was it called for fringe, and I did not put fringe on it because I didn't think it needed it. So like this is the bottom and this is the top, and I just didn't think it needed fringe. So after that one was done, I started digging through my yarn, and I decided instead of throwing a color in with my neutrals, I was just going to use neutrals. Some of the yarn in the bag was baby yarn, which I do not crochet with. I made 2 piles. I made a pile of white baby yarn and a pile of off-white ecru cream baby yarn, and then I just did one of each together, and I did the Linus sideways shell, which you can find on the Project Linus website. This is an old favorite, a go-to I've been making for years and years, and it came out like this. And you can see subtle color shifts throughout the blanket depending on what cream I was using, but it's really subtle, and I can't see it as much inside, but I did take it outside yesterday to take a picture, and you could really see just subtle color shifts. But like I said, 2 strands of baby yarn, and I have a nice baby blanket ready to go to Linus. So after that, I was getting a little bored of crocheting, as you might imagine, because I have made, that is number 5 and number 6 that I have made since my surgery, and I didn't crochet the first week, so in the last 3 weeks I have crocheted 6 blankets in varying sizes and patterns, and I was getting a little tired of that, so I started thinking about what else I could do that I had that was ready, and I realized I had a little Ziploc bag of yarn that had cotton yarn and knitting needles in it that my friend Janice had given me a while back, and we don't use cotton yarn for Linus, so I had just set it aside. Then, you know, my life happened and I forgot about it. So there's this bag of yarn with knitting needles in it, and so I picked it up and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, most of which didn't make any sense to me at all because I've been crocheting since I was like I learned at 10, and then I did it a little bit through like my childhood, and then I picked it up again in college, and crocheting has always just made more sense to me. Some of the best knitters I know have tried to teach me how to knit, including Hard Hat Cat, who can knit at super speeds without looking, and I still didn't learn how to knit. But I ended up using the Stitch and Bitch knitting tutorial. I watched it about 10 times, and I followed it and paused it and followed it and paused it, and I made this stunning piece right here. So this is the only thing I've ever knitted successfully that was bigger than like a postage stamp. I think I got it, at least the knitting part. I don't know that I could follow a pattern yet. There you go. I did this. This was like an entire day of knitting. I only dropped one stitch, which nearly gave me a heart attack because that doesn't happen in crocheting, but I figured it out, and my daughter knits, so she was able to help me too. She ended up hanging out with me and we watched a movie, and she was knitting too. About 1,000 times faster than I was, but that's okay. And she's offered to loan me some other needles if I would like to try something bigger, which I might do after I finish the crochet project that I'm about to show you now. So I have one more baby blanket in progress, and I want to say something about this because I keep a tally sheet on my wall. I actually just started doing this year because I lost track of how many blankets I donated to Linus last year. If they don't get signed in at the Linus meeting, they don't end up in the Linus database, and I'm pretty sure I missed a couple last year, so I'm trying to keep track myself a little bit better. Anyway, so I tallied up what I've donated so far this year, and my goal for the year is 24. I usually say 2 a month, but it's really, my goal is 24. I like to do 2 for every month of the year. And this, my friends, is number 24, mostly because of all the crochet blankets I've been doing just recently. So this is, again, this is just white yarn, and then I pulled out some colors that I had left over from other stuff. This is the blue and black that I showed you last week that Wonder Woman gave me, and the others are just black and gray that I had left over from other projects. And I've got some white left, I've got some black left, so I'm just going to keep going until it is as big as I can make it, and then I'm going to call it done, and this will be number 24 for 2016. So that is it. You guys have a great week. Make sure you stop by Phantom and Stitches for Michelle's awesome Disney Princess Quilt Along, Once Upon a Time. I think in about 2 weeks, I guess, we've got another My Favorite Things going. I have made excellent progress on that because of surgery and whatnot. I had gotten a little behind on my pattern editing, but my pattern editing is complete, so every pattern all the way through December is done. I just need to finish up the layout instructions, and that block of the month is ready for you guys. It's ready for public consumption. And as always, Amber has been testing like a rock star, and she, the way my pattern testing philosophy is I test my own patterns, and I like for someone else to test my patterns because I like to have an extra set of eyeballs. But the reason I like to test my own patterns is I can usually improve the design if I test it myself. If I find a design, not necessarily a mistake, but something that just could be improved, I tend to see it myself better if I test it. Though I will say that Amber is completely amazing at catching mistakes. I very rarely have a paper piece pattern go out with a mistake because I have great pattern testers. Both Amber and then Jules did the X-Files Quilt Along at the beginning of the year, and it's good to have friends. Okay, so I'm done rambling. You guys have a great week. Have a crafty week. Be sure and post your videos because there is a prize for posting videos on ttmt.livejournal.com, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.